have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time, but not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I've talked about how repetition is the key to mind control. It should be obvious to everyone that it is the key to mind control, just from the thought of thinking about how songs get stuck in your head because you hear it over and over, pounded into your head. Or thinking about school and how we learn the same thing. You know, nobody really goes back because they're like, well, yeah, but then I went from algebra to geometry and all this other stuff. I mean, you really just learn the same crap. And the whole reason is because the more they pump it into your head, the more you start accepting it as reality. Now, I've seen this recent trend in the last few days, and it goes with the theme I've been talking about of how they're taking characters in these movies and they're making the ones that you would consider evil to be the good guys. So they're taking the antagonist and making him the protagonist. And this is obviously part of their plan to make good evil and evil good. Now, the Bible talks about this in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who turn darkness to light and light to darkness, who replace bitter with sweet and sweet with bitter. And what I'm seeing is not just turning evil good, but they're actually making them superheroes. They're taking these satanic type characters and they're turning them into superheroes. So it starts with, I'm sure you've all seen the trailer for Maleficent, or however you say this ridiculous thing with this demon Angelina Jolie, who I've exposed many times over, whether it's the photos of her posing, just disgustingly with horses, or her talking about, these secret Illuminati parties that she's been a part of. It's pretty obvious that Angelina Jolie is one of them, because they all are, right? And she's constantly pushed down our throat. Well, it starts with the repetition here that this character is being portrayed as, this evil witch, right? Of course, brought to you by Disney, promoting the witch. But she's the good guy. She's the cool character, right? She's the one everyone wants to dress up and be like. The kids want to buy that costume, little girls, for Halloween, not the other character in the film. Because they're making good evil and evil good. And of course, it's Disney who's constantly talking about the witches, right? Every movie, for the most part, is about witches and magic Disney produces. And this is to program children, right? They'll tell you that witchcraft and magic isn't real because, it shows you how stupid that people are, because it's right in front of us 24/7. Then why do they keep talking about it? It's all they talk about. It's all Disney's based off of. The most current movie coming out is Aladdin, about a magic genie who grants wishes, right? And they keep remaking these things. But one of the things you'll see, of course, is the Maleficent character, whatever it's called, with the horns on the head, right? Everybody knows that this was the character wears this Baphomet thing. I just did a video a couple days ago on Elton John, showing Elton John with that character, that costume being worn in his film, right? And another thing that is this must just be a coincidence too, right? Look at the cheekbones and the face of this, satanic witch, which is what she's supposed to be in the movie, right? She's an evil witch. And don't you remember this picture, of Lady Barfbag when she was on Jay Leno, where her face was all pointy like a pentagram? Same thing, right? You could see the demonic possession. This is all social engineering. This is all conditioning. And this is all being done to the youth out there. You see, they flip the middle finger to people like us because they're like, look, we're going to do it and get away with it because the people who are our age, who are awake, they're going to fight against us and call us crazy. The kids out there, they laugh at us and they think it's a joke, the ones who are completely programmed. Because unfortunately, their parents are completely brain dead. Right? These are the same parents who are letting their kids pick their gender. So this is one of the movies where we're seeing the evil turn to good, which is coming out. Another one is this X-Men movie, which they flat out tell you, even in the title, right, with Dark Phoenix, as in the Phoenix Rising from the ashes. But they tell you the same thing, right? Every hero has a dark side. So the protagonist, the hero of the movie, this X-Man character, I guess the name is Dark Phoenix, or I don't know. I'm not really into these nerd fest things, but this character is the hero of the film, but also embracing its evil side, right? Just like Maleficent. And then another movie out there that's trending, that's coming out, is about a superhero that horror needs a superhero. So it's about an evil character who comes and he kills people, but he's a hero. It's called Brightburn, right? And of course, it's by James Gunn. If you're not familiar with James Gunn, a lot of people did videos on James Gunn. He was one of those guys who was people found a lot of filthy tweets, and I fully agree. You can't. There's certain things you can and can't say, but nobody should be tweeting stuff like this, and nobody should be defending anyone who tweets stuff like this. I mean, we could barely say anything on YouTube or online about the truth or exposing the stuff. Yeah, these are some of the cleaner tweets that this guy has written. I like it when little boys touch me in my silly places. Shh. I mean, is that supposed to be funny? I'm supposed to just be like, oh, he's got a warped sense of humor. I mean, where I grew up, you get punched in the face for saying something like that. And he says, for the record, I'm against rape and baby eating in real life, unless you're really, really, really hungry. That's from 2009. So who is talking about, eating babies and raping babies? You know what I mean? Then he's bringing attention to it. It's just a coincidence, right, that all these guys like him and Ali Fontes, they all just tweet these disgusting things about babies and rape, and it's okay for them. James Gunn's still making movies, obviously, with this movie, Brightburn, coming out. And again, it's the same thing. You can see the character with the character flies around with its Baphomet wings like a fallen angel. It's got red demonic eyes under demonic possession, and he's got superpowers, right? This ties into the transhuman aspect of everything that's going to be going down with the Antichrist. But they're saying, look, horror needs a superhero. And it's a superhero horror movie where the villain is the good guy. And again, this is the same thing. And this is all this week. I'm sure you could point out to me many other things in the comment section below, and I'd love to hear about other movies and stuff that you've seen that are coming out. Because it's not like my finger's completely on the pulse with this, and I see what I see from my day-to-day life, or if people email me stuff or write stuff in the comment section. Sometimes I miss stuff, obviously, because there's a lot of comments and a lot of emails come in. But this is just a few to pull out of a hat. I'm sure there's dozens of other ones where if you start looking for this theme now that I'm pointing it out to you, in case you haven't seen it, you'll find that this is the theme. You'll say, yeah, this is interesting. Now, so the hero has a dark side, like a bad side to him, but he's embracing the evil. Because they're subliminally telling people to embrace evil, right? And this is a subliminal way of getting people to accept evil and eventually, accept the Antichrist and accept all this stuff. They won't even realize what they're accepting when all this stuff goes down. Because remember, this is all going down under the love movement. They're convincing people that Christians are the hateful bigots of the world and Satanists are caring, loving feminists. And people are buying into it. It shows you how dumbed down everyone is. And again, this goes back to Scripture. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who turn darkness to light and light to darkness, who replace bitter with sweet and sweet with bitter. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing it through repetition, through mind control on the masses. They're using these movies to get people subliminally programmed into doing this. Because remember, people emulate what they see. They won't tell you that because they're prideful. They think everything they're doing, because they've been told, is their individuality. But I think they keep talking about individuality. Be who you are, even though these are ridiculous statements, because of course you be who you are. Who else would you be? But in reality, people aren't who they are. Because they're imitating people on television. They're imitating how people dress, right? That's why people are into certain fashion trends. They're influenced by it. Like certain music. Like certain people. Right? They're all influenced by these things. Then they emulate it. They have this, that's the whole point of these celebrities having political influence on people, because they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so's against guns, and then the 12-year-old's like, yeah, the guns kill people and we shouldn't have them, even though, banana peels can kill people if you slip on one, right? But it's the sheep mentality. It's the hurting of our society through social engineering. So I wanted to point this out because I've noticed it recently. And again, just one of the things, as soon as I saw the trailer for the Maleficent, you see the skin structure of the face. the pentagram and whatever the purpose of this is, if it's some type of demonic, it's unbelievable how all of this, this stuff just like connects to each other, and they're just constantly doing it right in front of our faces, and they don't care. It's a shame that people out there who see this going on don't care, and they're like, "Oh, let it go on." Come on, Call. Can't you just point out the good stuff in the world? Why point the negative? Well, it's not my fault you can't handle the negative because you're too soft. Then you go down soft, go down Marshmallow Valley, and go hang out down there. All right. I mean, I've accepted the reality of the nightmare that is this world. It's a nightmare. But if people don't see this and have it pointed out to them, they're just going to keep going down the lukewarm highway as well, like the soft people do. The stuff needs to be exposed, it needs to be pointed out, because this is nothing more than a giant social experiment of social engineering to brainwash the masses into Satanism and the occult and the practices of the occult. And that's the stuff I'm pointing out. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.